I don't know how I got roped into this. I'm a bass player, but I understand we'll do the pledge, and I don't have to sing that one. So, everybody, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And I understand we're doing God Bless America. Let's do God Bless America. Gordon, are you ready on God Bless America? Do you need a minute, Maestro? Give me the key. Here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. We going up? God bless America, my home, sweet home.
He's a musician, you can tell, can't you? He's got something to offer there. Hey, let's pray together. Thank you, gracious Father, for so amazing creating through the years an organization called Rotary, and for specifically focusing that foundation of Rotary to guide us through these many decades of our time, based on a foundation, a clarion call to guide us by service of self. Guiding principles to guide all that we do, beginning with the first test. Is it the truth? Continue to guard the hearts of our leadership in Rotary and guide us with the ability to discern and recognize those things that lead us into truth. May we be fair, building goodwill, being beneficial to all concerned. Father, continue to use us to truthfully serve this community called Gainesville. I pray in the name of the author of truth. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Lori. If I could please have all visiting guests.
We did. You nailed the prayer too, by the way. Yes, sir.
Have a mic in just a second.
Good morning, Rotarians. I'm Amber Miller with United Way North Central Florida, and I have our Director of Community Impact, Maddie Fleming, visiting with us today.
Good morning, fellow Rotarians. David Gracie, and I am pleased to probably reintroduce my friend Daryl Carr. Daryl, why don't you stand up for a minute? Daryl has been with Cox Communications for how many years? Long time, and he has made a career move. He is retired from Cox, and he has just bought a staffing agency, Spirion. So please welcome Daryl.
Alrighty, if we don't have any more guests or visiting Rotarians, I would like to invite world famous Jay Norquist up to this podium. See my famous
telling you, when I'm going to be president, you guys are in trouble. That's just all. I know. That's what I turned this off.
All right, perfect. Thank you, sir.
So the Paul Harris Fellow was established to honor, celebrate, and thank Rotarians for their generous gift of $1,000 to the Rotary Foundation. And so today, it is again my honor to for me to introduce and for us all to celebrate and thank our 3 newest Paul Harris Fellows recipients. So I'd like to have Cornelia Holbrook, Jenna Ostis is not here today, and Helen Warren, please come up as our newest Paul Harris Fellows. Thank you so much. And then we have somebody that was a member of this club for a very long time. She was a member for over 20 years, and a Rotarian that really was a true Rotarian, a doer, just a wonderful human being. So what I would like to do is I would like to, before we honor this individual, I would like for Richard Allen to come up here, tell us a little bit about our recipient, Elena Frazier. She is a Paul Harris Fellow plus 8. We're going to embarrass her a little bit and have Richard do a little bit of talking.
So those of you who have been in the club for a number of years know Elena really well. And for those of you who are newer to the club, you may not know everything that she's done over the years. But when I first joined the club, she was one of the very first people that got involved with us in Cambodia. She went on the very first trip, on the first Rotary trip to Cambodia. She was there, from the very beginning, on site, helping to guide all the people that we worked with there had grown up in these little rural villages with no water, no sanitation, and really no background on what was going on in the world. And here comes Elena, and she, so a lot of who she is as a person, which is this incredible expanding Rotary heart, was communicated out to all those youngsters in Cambodia and those young leaders in Cambodia. She helped to lead the first Rotary Club of Prasad leaders in Cambodia, the first Rotary Club that had Native Cambodians as the only members. She helped to lead and guide and mentor them. And really everything that has happened with the tens of thousands of village families and kids that have been helped in Cambodia, it is really, Elena is central to it all. Those of you who have been here for many years have seen year after year after year with the international fundraiser at the end with our auction. For years, she and Jenny just ran that auction, ran, did everything, organized everything, incredible work. What a work ethic, what a servant, what a service above self heart you have, Elena. And now she is a Rotarian in a club, in an E-club. But Elena, you'll come up.
Almost done. We got one more announcement. So you will also find on your tables, you're going to find some flyers that are there. They are, if you are interested in giving to the Rotary Foundation and to the Do Goodery, which is our local fund that we have where we do where we support local charities. There's a form that was emailed to you that has an QR code and also has a website where you can go in and you can fill in that survey to tell us what it is that you would like to contribute to the foundation if you're interested in doing that, and also the do-goodery. There's also another flyer, so if you're not signed up on Rotary International, there's another flyer where you're able to basically scan the QR code. All you need is your email address, and it'll walk you through. You can set up your online account through Rotary International. It's different from the DAC-DB. So, Elena, we miss you. We wish you were still in our club. You brought so much to this club. I'm lucky to have known you and been a part of that ride that you were here. So, thank you for all you do. And thank you to Cornelia and Helen. They stepped up, and if you noticed, it was all ladies. Okay? Let's get some of the guys up here, right? Have a good rest of your day.
Thank you, Jay. And my fellow Rotarians, we have a wonderful rap talk from the new Rotarians, so a big round of applause for Virginia Grant. Come on up, Virginia.
Well, hello, good afternoon. Oh, no, that won't work. You guys don't know me well, but that is never enough for me. Hello, good afternoon. There we go, thank you guys. I'll let you know. So nevertheless, I'm Virginia Grant. I'm a new Rotarian. And when I look at the Rotary and I think about the Rotary and I look at my life, and I'm going to share some of it with you, I realize I've been a Rotarian all along in spirit, and now I'm officially a Rotarian. So thank you all for inviting me and welcoming me into the club, because I really am enjoying being here and being a part of the fellowship here. So let's get to Virginia Grant. I am originally from a very small town in Marion County called Weirsdale, Florida. Most of you know about the Villages, which is directly west of Weirsdale. But long before the Villages grew up and had shopping centers and plazas and houses, was little old Weirsdale, where we had chickens and cow pastures and orange groves. So I'm just a good old country girl. That was my beginnings. Left Weirsdale after I graduated in 1988, went up to Tallahassee to do college at Florida A&M University. Thank you. Left there, went to Miami, well, South Florida, to do my graduate work in Nova Southeastern. And then somewhere between then and now, came to Gainesville. So for about the last 50 years, I've been here in Gainesville. A lot of you know me from developing, founding Gainesville Black Professionals. That was a nonprofit that I ran for about 9 years. In that 9 years, we developed and maintained the largest network of Black professionals in North Central Florida. We also published an annual magazine where we showcased entrepreneurs, business owners, and local professionals, and really told their story and shared them with the community. The amount of networking that we did through Gainesville Black Professionals had a tremendous impact on our community. We integrated a lot of nonprofit organizations that was looking for more minorities to serve on their boards, to be more involved in the community, so we did a lot of things. We also did a lot with helping in recruitment of more Black professionals and getting them involved in that way as well. So nevertheless, my assignment with Gainesville Black Professionals came to a close in January of this year. But don't worry, I still got more to do. So most recently, I started a new nonprofit about 5 years ago. Excuse me, my sister suffered a very severe anoxic brain injury. So severe that she became total care, and she needed to be taken care of full time. As a family, we did not want her to go into a nursing home. So we made a decision to bring her home to my house, and I became her primary caregiver. When I brought her home, fortunately for me, because I had no idea what I was doing, I was just like, oh yeah, she can come live with me. But I had no idea what true caregiving really entails. But like I said, fortunately for me, I had a huge support system and a lot of friends who understood, and they prepared me. get your rest, take care of yourself, take breaks, do for you first. And they demanded that I took care of myself. So that allowed me to actually take care of myself, but then also take better care of her. So I actually learned to enjoy my caregiving journey. And I know a lot of people, for them, that experience is not the same. A lot of caregivers are feeling isolated, they're feeling alone, they're not sure where to turn, they're not sure what to do. So my most recent project is Assurance. It is a support team. It's an entire community of support for caregivers, where we're gonna wrap our arms around them as a community and make sure that they have access to the resources that they need. And if nothing else, they have someone they can pick up the phone at 12 o'clock at night when they're going through it and just call. If we can't provide anything else, we're gonna at least provide that. In my personal life, I am the grandmother of 3, mother of 1 adult. My grandchildren love me so much that half the time they call me mama. So I'm very proud of that, to have a relationship with the grandkids where they forget that you're not, they forget that you're grandmother. So, long and behold, I am Virginia Grant, a new Rotarian, and thank you all for welcoming me into the club.
Virginia, I didn't grab you soon enough. If you could come up here, please. My apologies. I'd like to present you a 4-way plaque for you to display in your office. Everything we think, say, and do. Thank you very much, and welcome to the club. Yes. Wonderful. Cornelia and Helen, if you could stick around, we didn't get a picture of y'all. We'd love to take a picture after the meeting, so appreciate it. So happy Earth Day, everybody. Be remiss if I didn't say that. We have a new member today. So Samantha Howell, Sam. So Eric Patria has been a guest of Eric's the last couple of weeks, and right after our board met, we decided to go ahead and make a special vote to get her in so she didn't have to wait another 4 weeks. So appreciate her interest in the club. Sam actually is attending on Zoom today, but you know, great. Appreciate her and look forward to getting to know her better. The Hippodrome, so the Sip and Stroll this Thursday is already pulled up. So appreciate Greg for organizing this and really excited, looking forward to that event. RLI, there's a couple flyers on your table. Two of them are district opportunities. One's the Rotary Learning Institute that is May 3rd, and then the other is the district conference, which is in June. Then the something new that we're starting, so monthly social. So every 3rd Thursday, we're going to start there. We're going to move it around, maybe Celebration Point, Mag Park out on 39th or downtown. The first one is this in May 15th, and we're going to hold it here at Grand Scheme and at South Main Station. And it's just a very informal, opportunity for us to get to know each other. Our meetings structure doesn't really provide that opportunity. A few people come early, but most come right on time. And so this is an opportunity for us to socialize, brainstorm ideas for solving our community problems, whatever we want. It's meant to be quick, informal, easy. So I hope there's interest in this. We'll keep doing it as long as people keep showing up. So appreciate your interest. And one last announcement. So the Harley-Davidson of Gainesville has selected the Rotary Club of Gainesville as the recipient of the hog roast proceeds. We're actually, like the Butler Car Show, going to share that with the other Rotary Clubs in Gainesville. We think it's only fair. And that event is going to be on May 17th from 11 to 4. We'll have a tent set up so we can share information about Rotary and enjoy some good food and entertainment. So hopefully you can make some time to attend that event. I know there's a lot going on. But this time I'd like to invite Guy Joplin to introduce today's speaker.
Can't tell if y'all were clapping that he was sitting down or that I was standing up, but that's okay. Probably a combination. Our speaker today is Dr. Theresa Beachy. Dr. Beachy came to Gainesville from Sarasota in order to attend the University of Florida, where she obtained a Bachelor's of Arts degree in Political Science and a Master of Education and a Doctor of Philosophy in Educational Leadership, Policy, and Foundations. Dr. Beachy pursued a career in education, working in rural and at-risk programs, serving as the principal at Eckerd Youth's Alternative Camp, Ikelitu, thank you, a lot of vowels, a wilderness education program for at-risk boys. For 24 years, she served as the Chief Executive Officer of Peaceful Paths Domestic Abuse Network, a state-certified domestic violence center serving Alachua, Bradford, and Union counties. In October 2024, she began as the organizational strategist for the Center of Nonprofit Excellence, a project of the Community Foundation of North Central Florida. Dr. Beachy is an active community leader and is involved in numerous projects that address equity and social justice, interpersonal violence, homelessness, and intersectionality of poverty and oppression. She has served on a variety of highly successful and tumultuous boards throughout her career and is acknowledged as an expert in organizational leadership, program development, and metrics and vision and fruition planning. These are big words. She is a member. That's right. She is a member of the Executive Board and Economic Development Committee Chair for the Greater Gainesville Area Chamber of Commerce, a member of the North and Central Florida Homeless Continuum of Care, member of the Gainesville Women's Club, and a member of Holy Trinity Episcopal Church. Her passion for social change that creates advocacy for issues related to violence against women and promotes an empowerment feminist philosophy. Her greatest joy is her son Nate, a promising jazz guitarist with whom she enjoys the Gainesville community and the Florida lifestyle. Please help me welcome Dr. Theresa Beachy.
Thank you so much. I actually need to update my bio because I'm actually the chamber chair and I keep forgetting to say that I moved up from the economic development. So Eric couldn't make it today, so I told him I would make sure I did him proud on that one. Very excited to be here. It's always great to talk to Rotarians. I was a Rotarian for many years and am trying to find my way back. Sunshine Rotary keeps trying to get me to come to them, and every time I go, why? It's so early. But it is really great to come out and share the great work that our community is doing around nonprofits. We have a lot of nonprofits in the room. Virginia is one of our newest Center for Nonprofit Excellence members. And we're just really working to ensure that the ecosystem here in North Central Florida is the strongest that it can be to create the impact that the vulnerable populations and issues in our community really deserve. So, in order for me to earn my cookie, I also have to take a picture so that Leslie can put it in our weekly roundup. So everybody smile. Right. Okay, so Brendan, are we ready? Is it gonna work? Let's see, there it is. Okay, so the Center for Nonprofit Excellence is actually a project of the Community Foundation that's been around for 10 years. This was a class project that grew out of Leadership Gainesville, and many of you remember Chris Johnson and Carrie Brill, who were very passionate about bringing this to the community, and they seeded it, made it go for the first year, and then turned it over to the Community Foundation, who said this is really a project we need to ensure remains an active part of our community's learning landscape to support our nonprofits. I want to talk just a little bit about what we've been doing since this relaunch in October and the great work that we've been able to accomplish in a really short period of time.
Again, the need for professional education and support for nonprofits is definitely something that we know is an ongoing gap in our community. When you look at the learning landscape of Gainesville, this is that one area where we go, we need to step up, we need to step up. And with the advent of the Children's Trust Initiative, we really found that there were more and more nonprofits coming online who needed the ability to build capacity for sustainability and ensure that they had the impact deliverables that were really necessary to move their issue forward. So the Children's Trust approached the foundation and said, we would like to work with you to staff this program, and lo and behold, here I am. So our vision at the CNE really is to build a nonprofit ecosystem that has the connection and collaboration at its core. By building nonprofit capacity and sustainability, we know that we can shift the larger conversation in our community and direct the funding and donor interaction from charity to investment. And really, when you are giving to an organization that you believe in their mission, you believe in the impact that they're creating, you're investing in work that has a life beyond your initial gift, a life that is changing the landscape, whether it's for conservation or for animal services or for mentoring programs. We have membership across the spectrum of all the different nonprofits in town, and that makes my job a lot of fun because it means I have about 14 different conversations every day on a variety of things that are, again, really important to the overall livability of our community and what makes Gainesville so special. I think one of the ways that we manage what the expectations of our member base is we ask for a lot of feedback. And so every time we do a training, we give a little QR code and we say, hey, tell us what it's about. Tell us what you got from this. My promise, and I think that we should all commit to this in the meetings that we go to, is that every meeting, every session that you attend at the CNE will be relevant and actionable. So everybody likes to meet just to meet, right? No. We meet because we want to make change. And in the nonprofit world, where the time is often even more constrained than in our for-profit world because you're wearing so many hats, it's important to ensure that all of the programming that we provide really does have that actionable and relevant component. So some of the feedback that was given, I really love that it says, thank you for the education and community that you're building through the trainings. I'm really grateful. One comment, if you don't measure it, you can't manage it, you can't impact it. Needs for collaboration, working together enhances our organizations. We have acknowledged that we want to be able to tell our story better. We have talked about our website, social media, and printed materials. Data and deliverables is a critical piece to doing that well. We're really finding that the range of supports that our nonprofits need go from everything from board recruitment and training to leadership education to fund accounting and invoicing with your funders, as well as understanding your impact and how you can track data from outputs to outcome. And it's really important that nonprofits are able to do that because, again, if we want to shift the conversation around investment, then you as an investor, not a donor, want to make sure that you know what your return on investment is. And helping nonprofits really tell that story and create a data set, an evaluation set that can really highlight the impact they're having is an incredible tool that, again, will serve them not only in the immediacy with the clients they're working with today and the programs that they're developing, but in the long term to show that they really are working toward their larger mission goals. Again, some additional highlights. There's so much I was unaware of. Makes me want to go back and ask questions that I didn't know to ask to start with. That's, again, a common theme that we have, is a lot of people start nonprofits thinking, well, a nonprofit is easy, it's nonprofit. And actually, it's one of the more complicated businesses that you could start. Between the amount of legal requirements, board interaction, and then just trying to determine how to stay on mission, not chase dollars, and figure out how to really make your programs effective, it's a heavy lift. And so one of the things we're doing is each quarter we run a Nonprofit 101 session where people who are thinking about starting a nonprofit or who have recently started a nonprofit can work not only with myself, but with one of our consultants who's a nonprofit attorney out of Tampa. And she will answer questions, give you some feedback, and kind of outline some of the biggest missteps that organizations make at the beginning to help you avoid those long-term issues that often creep up when you're starting a nonprofit. But we're really learning that the collaboration and opportunities that we're giving to agencies really creates a venue where they can do several things. They can validate what they're experiencing. They can discuss what's happening, what the trends are, what they're seeing in their issues, and then they can also do some problem solving. And problem solving is really important. I know that business roundtables in the chamber are one of the most important pieces of work that we do. And having those same roundtables for nonprofits is really strengthening the leadership, and the added benefit is now you're creating a support system for yourself to have those people, as Virginia said, that community of folks that you can turn to as issues come up in your organization. One of the things that we always encourage nonprofits to do, and really every business undertakes this in some form or another, is to, before you get really started in your work, is to take that deep breath and step back to say, what's the vision for this organization? So during the month of February and the beginning of March, I put out a call to our nonprofit members and said, hey, come spend an hour with me and talk about what you'd like to see in the organization. So we have 60 members, and I thought, I get 10%, that's pretty good. That'll mean that, people are interested to give up an hour of their time. 22 people signed up. So I spent the better part of 2.5 weeks talking to amazing leaders from nonprofits all over our community who just have fantastic ideas about what they'd like to see happen here in our ecosystem, as well as what they think our organization as this kind of boutique education project can really give them. And so some of the things that came out of that, board recruitment and engagement, very high on the list. So we're having a Build a Board workshop in July. And it may come with a bear, I'm not really sure. But we are definitely going to be talking about what boards pieces are missing and how we can better recruit them. And we're partnering with the Chamber and their Gainesville Young Professionals and Leadership Gainesville Alumni Association as a way to kind of train and recruit some new board members. I think we've cycled the same 300 people for about 20 years. So it's time to get some new board members in the fold. Fundraising, diversification, and competition locally. To address that, we are hosting a fundraising conference and bringing in Alice Lee Stansbury from Tallahassee. She's a fundraising expert. We're doing that on August 29th. We are looking for a corporate sponsor, and I just so happen to have a QR code right here that you can donate today if you would like to, and sponsor that conference. And that's going to be a really great opportunity, again, for our local nonprofits to come and really learn how to diversify income and to do better in terms of donor stewardship, and again, moving that conversation from charity to investment. Collaboration and cohort creation. This is an issue that's very near and dear to my heart. One of the things that I'm most proud of in the work that I did at Peaceful Paths was that we were able to create the very first high-risk team model in the state of Florida to address domestic violence homicide. And the reason we came to that is because in 2007, the state let us know that we were the 5th highest per capita rate of domestic violence homicide in the state. And at that time, Sheriff Dardell just said, that's unacceptable. And so together with the Victim Services Bureau Chief, Laura Knudsen, myself, and our state attorney, Bill Cervone, we worked together to try to figure out what model we could bring to Gainesville to address this. And within 10 years of implementing the model, which is called the Lethality Assessment Protocol, which now all law enforcement agencies in Alachua County implement, we were able to decrease domestic violence homicides by 77%. It was amazing work. And what we found out in implementing that model, which is a national model that was developed in the 80s in Duluth, Minnesota, is that What it really took to collaborate at that level and create that kind of change was people willing to talk to each other. People willing to come around a table who each had a piece of the issue, because as domestic violence centers know, I can only do two things. I can keep people safe and I can help them move on from their relationship. But I can't ever arrest anyone, I can't ever convict anyone, and I can't create systems change without partners who are willing to stand up and be allies. So that same model works in a lot of different contexts. It works very well in violence prevention, gun prevention. We're very fortunate that Brittany Coleman, who is running the Impact GNV program, was part of our cohort for domestic violence and is very familiar, so she's bringing a lot of elements of that model to that work. And last week we had our first workshop on coordinated response for our C&E members. 30 different organizations showed up. And what they found out is that we have to build this because we really want the opportunity to figure out ways to collaborate where we overlap, where we can share resources, and where then we can create the biggest impact. So I'm hoping that over the next, this is a long project, this is not a short fix, but I'm hoping that over the next 3 years, we really start to see cohorts come together in areas like youth empowerment and conservation and social services basic needs to create areas where they can do things like share space, perhaps share staff, and work together to, instead of having 15 events, have 3 where you split the proceeds. And so just trying to, again, think out of the box as a better business model for how nonprofits can sustain themselves as well as create that capacity to really meet their ongoing goals. Along with that, some business practice came up in our visioning using AI and technology. Also better business practice and responsiveness. There's been a lot of need for this because of changes at the federal level in funding that a lot of nonprofits are seeing, and being able to make that pivot and figure out how to adjust their business model to meet what the current state of affairs is in grant funding. Also, there was a lot of discussion around training and succession planning. I was really fortunate at Peaceful Paths to have amazing staff who were ready to step into the role when I was ready to step out. Not all organizations are in that same space. And so being able to facilitate some great leadership training that can lead to succession planning is a really important way to, again, ensure that the long-term capacity and sustainability of our organizations is present. And they don't lose momentum simply because they have a staff change. That is a really hard thing to recover from, and we want to prevent that. So to that end, in September, I'm going to be starting our first certificate program in leadership. It's called the Leadership Challenge. It's a great opportunity for nonprofit leaders at all levels to go through an 8-month program where they create a cohort of learners who are really looking at a values-based leadership education model. And it really gives you the tools that you need to understand how you lead from your value system, a very Rotarian sentiment, and make sure that as you are leading, you're inspiring, you're creating vision, and enabling and challenging your staff to really meet the goals that you have as an organization. So looking forward to starting that this fall. We're doing some great recruitment. We have a flyer that we're sending out. As I said, we have around 60 members. I got 2 new members this week, so I'm very excited about that. We're constantly looking for ways to encourage our membership to get more engaged in the work that we're doing. Decade is a member, and Brad has attended several of our executive director events as well as some of our other programming. And it's just really great to be able to see how people come together again to have those very critical discussions and also kvetch, because that's real. So right now we have reached out also to the 47 Hub and the Children's Trust programs that are currently not C&E members to encourage them to become part of this process. So our ongoing focus areas. When I presented the business model to the foundation board way back, I think about a year ago now, we were kind of building the ship as we sail it and thinking about what this model would look like. And I said, really, I think what we want to focus on is core strength. And I like acronyms as long as it's not alphabet soup. But core strength really stands for our capacity, our operations, our responsiveness, and our excellence. And that's really what we want to move our nonprofits through, the ability to create all of those things within their organization, regardless of the size. We know that we have some very large organizations in town who are still startups. They've been around for a long time, but they're still kind of in that startup mode because they lack some capacity that is just necessary to get them into the hump. And then we have some really small organizations that are super nimble who are just really mature in the way that they're able to navigate their issue and create some tremendous impact with very small resources, but with a lot of passion. And so we're very excited about that. But since I took over full-time in October, we've been able to provide 14 full trainings. That includes 2 conferences, 68 individual planning sessions, 7 impact planning meetings, and we've served over 240 people in just that first 4 months. So there is definitely an appetite for this. We know that, the learning landscape in Gainesville is very robust, and this is one of those areas that we just didn't have a placeholder for, and I'm so thrilled that the Children's Trust took the chance to partner with the Community Foundation to say, we want to ensure that the funded programs that we're working with have the tools that they need to really go forward and create some great experiences. So with that, I'll open it up for some questions.
Hi, this is a wonderful presentation, and
Thank you.
Speaks to something that has come up in my life recently. And I was wondering whether this kind of teaching would be available to someone who is trying to start a autism foundation and advocacy in Ecuador. One of my dearest friends from high school went to Gainesville High School with me, became friends with his housekeeper's daughter, who is severely autistic, and he really wants to do something to help. In the meantime, he discovered that the culture of giving in Ecuador is very different. Culture of non-for-profits, he knows, very well connected. Anyway, all this being said, is that I'd love to get a copy of this presentation, because I'm sitting here texting, like, oh my God, this is what you need. Because he's like, how do I do this? So, he's approached his friends in Ecuador, and goes, I'm not really getting where to create the advocacy and the sustainability of what fundraising can look like. And he's seen it happen here in the States, and he thought, oh, that'll just translate. Well, it didn't. And anyway, so would you entertain, how would, like my friend Felipe, who actually grew up in Gainesville, but he went back to Ecuador, so he didn't.
I've actually visited Ecuador, so we can have that conversation.
Oh, good. Well, he is an Ecuadorian tour operator, because of Latin roots. So, and he's actually thinking maybe he could get a group together so they could go to. He's actually he is partnered with an organization called Camina Conmigo, which means walk with me. And so he already has a little bit of anyway. So. If this person were to come, maybe we'll talk afterwards.
So, and Virginia just experienced this. So she called as a new nonprofit, and what we're able to provide at CME is a first hour of consult for free. And so you can come in and just talk about any of it and kind of how it's going. And then based on what your needs are, we can create a plan for what a fee for service would be, if membership is appropriate, and then what additional services you might need. I've been working with a lot of different groups who are at very different levels in their journey and their process. And since the beginning of my tenure in October, we decided that we would not charge for the first couple of quarters because we wanted to have proof of concept, right? And make sure that people were actually getting actionable and relevant. But starting in July, all of our services will be for fee, except for that first hour, which will be a free consult.
Well, thank you. You'll definitely, I need to.
And just tell them to go to the website.
I will definitely tell them.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. I was thrilled. I'm like, I'm texting fast enough. I'm like, yay! We're off the board.
Relevant and actionable, yay!
Thank you.
Absolutely.
mentioned fees. So what is the cost associated with the service? How are you going to structure that? Is it based on the size of the organization? Just kind of
Yeah, we're going to do some sliding scale work, but if you go on our website, it has a list of the different kinds of things. So like, for example, if you want to do an impact planning session versus a full strategic planning session versus you want me to review all of your policies, procedures for compliance and things like that, there's just different price levels that we have. I don't have them off the top of my head because we're, again, I'm building the ship as I sail it. It's also very weird for me to be in the space where I'm charging for services. I used to just kind of give everything away for free, which is why I had my intern make me a lanyard so I can, again, just push right here on the QR code and you can donate. And so it is a different model, and but I think that one of the things we're trying to do is make sure that that price point is acceptable for folks. Like, for example, our leadership cohort, that training is going to be an 8-month, once a month, and we're going to be charging $1,500 for that. And the reason we came up with that is based on the materials and the investment that we've made in the training. Most of our nonprofits have somewhere between 12 and 17 board members, so if you each just pony up $100, you can send your person.
This is very simple. Are you housed in the community foundation?
I am.
That's where you are?
Yes. Other questions? If not, my lanyard and I will be around. Because it's amazing gifting, and we're really excited to be able to participate.
Theresa, thank you so much. Appreciate you speaking with us today, and on your behalf, we'd like to make a donation to the Child Center for everyone.
Excellent. This will be the second check they'll get from me. Yay!
And Guy, we know what everybody was applauding for. Michael Pellet wanted me to make a quick announcement, just to remind everybody, there's always an emergency need for blood donation, so please consider making a donation. The speaker for next week is Shaw Grigsby, professional bass fisherman. So that'll be a fun program, something different. Quote for the week: "To plant a garden is to believe in tomorrow." It's Audrey Hepburn. Rotary Reading Safari drawing numbers 346, 346. And with that, the meeting is adjourned.
All right, so we gotta get a check for Jeff.
All right.
Thank you.
I think we did it, man. I was holding my breath, but we're good.